Hi, this is Mike Huckabee. Isn't it amazing how so much that President Trump said still rings true? But schools and the media don't want our kids to hear anything positive. And that's why my team created the Kids Guide to President Trump.
Yes, it's a nationally advertised book aimed at pre-teenagers, and the questions on MSNBC have been hilarious.
So, do we skip over the grab them by the that chapter? Do we skip over the chapter?
Do the kids color that in?
How do they color that in?
Even though they offer a version of that book that's a scratch and sniff, I would avoid that entirely. Just don't do that one.
Oh my God.
What about the part where he says, hey, we're going to shoot the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff? Like, do they have Mark Milley up against the wall? And how do we walk our children through all those chapters? I'm a little confused.
Joe, I want to help you and many other people clear up any confusion. So to better understand what's inside the Kids Guide to Donald Trump 2024 edition, let's first talk about what is not inside. The guide makes no mention of Trump being a convicted felon. There's no discussion of the guilty verdicts in New York and no mention of any of the other criminal cases against Trump. The guide does not devote a single word to recent civil court judgments that found Trump liable for sexual abuse, defamation, and business fraud, resulting in hundreds of millions of dollars in fines. There's no mention of Trump's lies about the 2020 election. There's no mention of the January 6th attempted insurrection. And as the Raw Story Review noted, color yourself equally disappointed if you expected the Kids Guide to Donald Trump 2024 edition would dedicate even a drop of ink to Trump's Access Hollywood tape, pardoning of political patrons, 2 impeachments, tryst with a porn star, or any one of the 30,575 presidential lies or misleading claims that Washington Post fact-checkers chronicled during the Trump presidency. So what does the Kids Guide actually say? The copy obtained by Raw Story is basically a scissor reel of Trump's alleged accomplishments, including the creation of the U.S. Space Force, fighting terrorism, stopping spying, engaging North Korea, supporting Israel, and visiting the Middle East. There's no context, no skepticism, no critical thinking. One page says President Trump's policies had a positive impact on America. Another page says unfavorable and inaccurate news coverage about candidate Trump was common during the presidential campaign. The Kids Guide about President Trump is just one of a series of kids' guides that are published by the company Espired LLC and hawked by Mike Huckabee. There is the Kids Guide to Media Bias.
Parents, liberal bias is everywhere, from the news on TV, the social media apps our kids use, and worst of all, even the classroom. We must give our children the power to see this bias and stop it, and Mike Huckabee wants to help. His brand new Kids Guide to Media Bias and Fake News will help your kids see through propaganda and lies.
Except if the lies come from Donald Trump. Anyway, there is also the Kids Guide to Fighting Socialism.
Parents and grandparents, Cuba is just another example of the damage that socialism can do to a country, but the radical left is pushing it on America. Kids need to know why it won't work, and Mike Huckabee wants to help by sending you the Kids Guide to Fighting Socialism free for a limited time.
Wait a second. You want to help kids fight socialism, but you want to give a book away for free to anybody who asks for it or needs it. I believe this is a form of socialism. Anyway, there's also a Kids Guide to helping youngsters understand the right to keep and bear arms.
Hi, I'm Mike Huckabee. The Second Amendment gave us one of our most valued rights as Americans, yet it's under attack every day in both the media and the classroom. That's why my team put together the Kids Guide to the Second Amendment. It helps kids understand why our founding fathers ratified the Second Amendment and why it remains so important.
The guide does not explain how to safely store your firearms or advise kids on what to do if another kid shows up at school with an assault weapon. But hey, you can't include everything in a kid's guide, right, Governor Huckabee?
Parents, a frightening battle to brainwash your children is raging its way through America's classrooms and media, and we are losing the battle for the hearts and minds of our kids. That's why Mike Huckabee's team created the Kids Guide to Fighting Indoctrination. This essential guide helps kids spot the signs of indoctrination and gives them the tools to fight back.
Okay, enough with the kids' guide commercials. You get the picture. And again, these videos and the books are not satire. The books are really published by a Florida-based company called Espired. As Raw Story reports, fine print on Espired's website spells out how the company, while conservative in its leanings, uses customers' personal data quite liberally. A 2021 Daily Beast article wrote of some customers receiving surprising recurring monthly bills from the kids' guide and warned of the scamming of parents. The Better Business Bureau's rating page for Espired LLC, meanwhile, is a hot mess. Espired's customer review rating is 1.29 out of 5 stars. Its Better Business Bureau accreditation is listed as suspended, and customer comments are peppered with words such as total scam, swindled, and farce. However, on top of millions of dollars of ads on cable news, Raw Story reports that Espired over the past 6 years has spent over $4 million in ads on Facebook and Instagram. So Espired is not exactly a small fly-by-night business. It has clearly penetrated conservative media and appears to be a profitable business. A couple of things. I have no problem with conservatives, progressives, moderates, or anybody else producing and publishing family-friendly books for kids. Our children should be encouraged to read a wide variety of material, including views that they may disagree with. That's partly how kids learn critical thinking skills. However, there's still something creepy and cult-like about the Kids Guide series. Cults try to indoctrinate children from a young age to suspend or ignore uncomfortable realities. And that's clearly what's going on with these books, especially the 2024 Kids Guide to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not a saint, no matter what the Kids Guide book says. And any parent who votes for Donald Trump is boosting Trump's coarsening of our society, making our communities more hateful, and further dividing all of us, including kids. Furthermore, I believe that a parent who votes for Trump will have to do some explaining to their children, as underscored by this ad from the Lincoln Project.
What will you tell your kids? That you voted for a felon and a criminal, supported a man found guilty by a citizen jury, went into the voting booth happy to pull the lever for the only former president in history to bear the mark of criminal shame. Will you tell them that breaking the law is how they should live their lives? That lying to their families about porn stars and hush money is how they should behave? Do you want your son to treat women like a man who was found to have committed sexual assault? Do you want your daughter to be a victim of a man like him?
You going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the...
Will you tell them that he was honest, that he was a good man,
Very fine people on both sides.
that he treated people the way you've taught them?
Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
Will you tell them you're proud of his cruelty, happy with the ugly insults,
I mean, I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers.
the attacks on women, and the endless lies, that the chaos, death, and danger he brought was worth it? We know it's hard to walk away and put country over party, but your kids are watching. You're not just voting for your future. You're voting for theirs.
It really is our children's future that we are talking about in this election. And so while I applaud Mike Huckabee for trying to get kids to read more and become engaged citizens, the conservative nonsense and Trump whitewashing deserves the ridicule that Huckabee is receiving. By the way, Donald Trump seems to be in an especially foul mood these days. Trump explosions have been intense even by Trump standards, so what gives? Donald Trump is leading in the polls and Democrats are in disarray over Biden, so why is Donald Trump in such a foul mood? Several Trump associates point to this. Judge orders surprise release of Epstein transcripts, and Donald Trump appears in Epstein document dump.
Donald Trump's name appears again and again and again and again in the new document dump that just took place of the grand jury documents relating to criminal proceedings against Jeffrey Epstein.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Curtis Griffin, 5736, who wrote, "It is absolutely astonishing that conservatives embrace this foul man. He is one of the greatest con men ever." I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about the Donald Trump kids book getting mocked and ridiculed. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.